welcome to First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. My name is Lindsay Jackson.
And I'm Aaron Jackson.
And we are super excited to be joined by none other than the Sophia Stephens, y'all. I am so hyped about this interview. I know, applause, applause, applause. Let me tell you something. Host of the Maiden Myth Podcast, that is extraordinaire, has won awards, but also singer, writer, actress, producer, all the things. Sophia is here to share with us so many wonderful things, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you.
Thank y'all for having me. I'm so excited.
We have great conversations. So I'm like, why not share what we talk about with other people in hopes that they will feel like, you know what? Number one, they're not alone. And number two, they're going to get some things that's like, oh, okay, yeah. I see. Yes. So that's what we're doing today.
I love that. And, we have good talks. We used to have great talks in the Lion King dressing room, huge debates.
That's how, I didn't even share it. Yes. That is how we found each other.
Yeah.
The Lion King dressing room, which we were always talking about, like if there was a fly in the room, that dressing room, the conversation.
And those controversial topics to the most mundane topics, we had something to say.
It's good stuff, though. It's good.
It is.
So wait, you basically saying that like the Lion King women's dressing room was like the barbershop?
It was like the barbershop / the View / the Grill.
Okay.
Yes. All of the things that are the inside too.
Much, yeah, it was everything. So many different opinions. It was way to work on the debate.
The topic of today is Valentine's Day, because this episode is coming out for Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah.
And we're pretty much saying to ourselves, what's going on with the singles out there? So I talked to you when we had a conversation, though. We were having a conversation about what is a single person, and you had a question, which
okay. So this will probably be the first question to kick it off.
Okay.
Because I always get in trouble for this, seeing that me and Lindsay been together for like 22 years, and I've been married for like 9 years.
Congratulations.
Going on 10 years this year, actually.
Yeah. That's
the question is like, what is the threshold from being single to be like, oh, I'm committed? Or you know what I'm saying? Like saying like, I'm not single anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to, and I have homegirls, and I'll be like, what is your threshold? Because I'll be like, oh yeah, you single. And then she's like, I'm not single. I'm like, you know him for 3 weeks.
I would say it is the level of mutual investment.
Okay.
But so I'm actually talking about this in my season.
Yeah.
So I believe, I actually think I mentioned this to Lindsay, and she said, you've used this point that when you go and you fill out a form, they don't say single in a relationship, married. It's either single or married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you have not gone through the legal agreement of, partnering with a person for a lifetime or whatever designated time you decided in your head, you are single. Okay. Now it gets complicated when we're in relationships and we're making physical investments, sexual investments, mental investments, emotional investments. We're putting ourselves into these relationships. Again, one person can be doing all of that and another person is not.
Yeah.
And so you're in a relationship and you're actually single.
Right.
I say it is mutual investment. You have to have the conversation, like, what are we in? And if it's mutually agreed upon that you're in a relationship, okay, yes. Technically, you are still, look, legally, you're single. Legally, you are still single. You are still single. And so it's an argument to be made, especially for single women who desire to be married. I think that it's good for you to remind yourself that you were not in a committed relationship and that you should keep your options open so that you don't find yourself stuck in a situation that is going to bear no fruit.
Yeah. That's a good one. Because I just said 8 months, but yours is better. Because I used to be like, okay, a guy can lie for 8 months. That's my rule. You could do I could lie a solid 8 months before the cracks start showing, or like, like, oh, he really ain't got no job. like I could miss it.
I appreciate that so much. So I said 6, I will give you 8. I really believe I don't care if you're a narcissist. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a psychopath. People can't, they're not that good of actors.
Right.
Nope,
They can't hold it for that long. Yeah.
Just believe, when people show you who they are, just believe them. And that's it. People, it's like you don't want to believe a person because you're just so hopeful that this will work out and you really like the person or they're feeding something in you that's missing. But you're right. 8 months, I see it.
Yeah.
After that's it. So, but would you be offended if someone calls you single, but you don't consider yourself single?
I would.
Yeah, like if they're like,
I think because I grew up in a religious space, I'm going to say no. I think if I saw partnership as a means to an end, like, you know what I mean? Like that's like the end all be all, then I would be offended. But my perspective is so different.
we're going to talk about it.
Right. I mean, just to be brief, I don't think I would be too offended. But with that being said, I can understand people who would be offended. Like if I'm Oprah, I'm not single, you know? But if I wish to be married, well, then yeah, I am single. Tell him to hurry up.
Well, because I could think the reverse. Because some people who wish to be married and they're like, "Oh, I'm single because he did not put a ring." Like,
I agree with you. Exactly what I'm.
That's
yes.
right. Yeah, that's right.
So Oprah might be like, "Yeah, I'm single,
but not.
I got a partnership."
Right.
She doesn't want to get married, so she's like,
"Yeah,
yeah, you know."
And I also think it's like the connotation when it comes to like the label and who it's coming from. So like coming from Lindsay, who been with me for so long, we've had this podcast for 5 seasons. And if Lindsay's like, girl, you single and you not thinking you single, somebody gonna take it a different way. So, but with your single friends, it's like, oh girl, you got a man. She's like, yes, I do.
Yeah, intention always changes the context. So I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But I would.
Okay. So on to the topic of marriage, because here we are. If you are single for a period of time, do you still hope out for marriage, for love? Like, how do you feel about that?
You know, everyone, it's a journey. It's a journey. And I'll tell you, there are many women who, I can speak for myself, was single for a very long time. And I made peace with, I will probably not get married. And that is okay. Okay. But it took me a while to get to a healthy place of that, right? Because for a while I was like, I'm not going to get married, period, hard stop. So let me just find a way to live a very beautiful life without thinking about marriage at all. Because with it being in the back of my mind, it always felt like I was missing out on something.
Yeah.
And I was never really in a rush to get married to begin with. But then there was this period of time, like in my 30s, where I was just like, now or never, you know? And I was like, okay, you got to calm down. You're feeling anxious and people sniff that out and it doesn't make you feel good. So I think that there are some women who still desire it. They found a healthy balance of desiring marriage and still living a healthy single life. There are other women who genuinely do not want to get married. I know a lot of them. And there are others who are just desperate. I know them as well. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, for sure. And we kind of had this conversation about it because we're talking about the church and the pressure of marriage that maybe comes from just that. And how it's like, well, you know what? God didn't say marriage necessarily. He said, you know, you weren't meant to be alone. So maybe more so companionship or something like, but you know, that sort of thing. Like we don't talk about that enough.
No, we don't. I think it has more so to do, I believe it has a lot to do with community. And I do think it has something to do with even partnership. A partnership can be seen in many ways. Friendships, business partnerships. It doesn't have, it's not singled out to just marriage. And even scripture talks about great friendship, like David and Jonathan, you know, wonderful friends, best of friends, will give their lives for each other. And so I do believe community is really important. And I feel when your community is really, really strong, I believe you have a healthier marriage. So it's almost that should be first, because then you don't look to this person to fulfill every single need that you have. That's just me talking.
That's an interesting point, because I remember in the beginning of our marriage when it was like we used to go to outside sources to kind of not it was like we had our different mediators. So like I would go to I think in the first season we talked about this, about like
who do you talk to?
Yeah, who do you talk to? So I look up to my dad and my mom because they've been married for so long. So I have the opportunity to talk to my dad or talk to my mom as a wife. Like I don't know what Lindsay is going through as a wife, and we're in this discussion and we're not seeing eye to eye. Let me get your perspective. Or let me get my dad's perspective of how would you go about this? Or I'll go to my brother who's married or something. Like it was like, who do you connect to? Who do you look up to? It's all about when it comes to community, it's like pulling people from behind and bringing them up, and then also looking towards somebody, and then you got your partner next to you. And so that's why I'm always like, okay, who is in our circle? Who is in our village? Who's the godparents to our children? Who do we allow in? And like one of the things, like this podcast, Lindsay and I, because we have a WhatsApp group with our family, and it's always like, if they really want to know what's going on with us, because we're in New York now, they could listen to the podcast because we're so genuine on here. So it's like one part about being in the community is reaching out, but also the community also has to be like, okay, you got to have a good solid one. Because I remember when I was like 15 and we got in a fight, and my friend was like, "Oh, she just wants some dick." I was like, "What?"
See, that's the problem. You really got to watch. And I didn't realize how important this was until like recently. And I'm like, wow, people will really give you their own biases or their trauma. It's like, no. Or the people who agree with you all the time and say, you're right, you're right, you're right, without ever considering the other person's perspective. I am so fortunate to have people like that in my life, where they love me enough to want to give me the truth and not just make me feel good. So yeah, good community is so important, and it strengthens any relationship you're in.
I had when Lindsay was dancing for Philadelphia, she came. I moved out to Philly for 6 months because Lindsay always said she wanted to go to New York. So I moved out to Philly for 6 months and I was living with her. And Lindsay came home randomly one day and was like, "We never getting married. You don't want to marry me." Out of nowhere. And I was like, "What just happened?"
Because one of my coworkers was like, "Look, he would have married you by now. Like y'all been together forever." And it was so wild. It was like I was much, much, much younger. And that's why we always like, you got to be careful. You got to be careful who you talk to, like who you let in. Because this girl really had me thinking like, okay, he doesn't really love me, or and it was that whole thing.
She didn't know me at all, though.
She didn't have to know you. She knew men. Exactly. She knew a man. She knew, and she had just been hurt. She just
got hurt.
Dumped. Exactly. So you got to watch out.
She was like, "I got to pass this on to somebody else."
But people only know so much. They only know to the extent of the trauma that they've already been through. So taking that with a grain of salt, like even us, which is why we always have different people, different perspectives. It's like, this is what we know, right? This is what has been helpful to us. But let's see what else let's see what other we got things out there. So
absolutely.
I am going to transition this conversation because I'm like, this could go on for a while. Because it is February and it is Black History Month. So it's like Black Valentine's Day, Black Love Valentine's Day.
Okay. Market it.
Been like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
My thing is, who, in your opinion, who is Valentine's Day for? Because I'm gonna start off with this. I have never been a fan of Valentine's Day, but for you, of the Maiden Myth, who is Valentine's Day for?
Children and the insecure.
Ooh, we've never heard that one before. Okay.
But see, I'm like that with most holidays. Don't try to fool me into spending my money. Okay, I'm not in the mood. I do not take Valentine's Day seriously at all. I never have. When I've dated, I'm like, please don't. Show me every day. Take me out on other. I feel like it's even more special when it's not a birthday, when it's not a holiday. It's a just because, it's a surprise, it's consistent, and heartfelt. So yeah, I'm not really for these most holidays, even Christmas, y'all. I'm like, no. What we gonna do? Even in my family, I think I was the one who started it. I'm like, we're gonna do Secret Santa. One person gonna get one gift, and we're gonna spend time with each other. I feel like Valentine's Day is best used to serve other people or to serve yourself.
Welcome to the Am I Wrong segment of First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage podcast. This is the part where I give you a situation. You let me know if I'm wrong or if Lindsay's wrong. So, as we record this, Valentine's Day has not happened yet. And Lindsay has made a little comment. She was kikiing about how nobody has asked her to be her Valentine.
Yeah.
And am I wrong? I'm going to make this real quick. Doesn't this signify, this ring right here, doesn't this ring signify that I am her forever Valentine? Wow. Am I wrong?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. A, number one, yes, my forever Valentine. But two, a girl likes to be asked. And I just want to note that it was not but a few days ago that I was sitting right here on this couch. And we have a daughter now that,
right here.
Right, exactly, that you and Action were fighting over who was going to be Liv's Valentine. So meanwhile,
it wasn't a fight. I'm going to be her Valentine.
I'm holding her, right? So skip over the mama. I was like, I'm sorry. They were like, it was like, I'm going to be Liv's Valentine. Action, I'm going to be Liv's Valentine. And I was sitting there like, wait, what? Where did I go? So I think that it would just be sweet to ask. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been so sweet.
I'm so happy I got a cap on today.
And you have time. You still have time to ask me if you want.
Sure. So you can let her know that she's wrong, that she don't need no questions. And this means no questions asked. This is you already know. This ring means you already know.
Okay. You can DM us. Instagram or TikTok at First Comes Love TCM.
You can subscribe to our YouTube, of course, at First Comes Love.
And you can email us, let's talk at firstcomeslovethenComesMarriage.com.
Now, back to the podcast. You heard that? Serve yourself, baby.
Yeah.
Serve yourself, and even better, Aaron, don't get in trouble.
Exactly. We go, wait. Sophia, this you now. Serve yourself. Okay, you did too.
That was so funny. Or I really feel like serving other people, serving strangers. You know, I've done that before where you just make cards, you put like $10 in it, $20 in it, and you just hand it to a random stranger with a nice note in it. Yeah. Make somebody you don't know feel loved. Don't go to some store and buy flowers for it. It's just all a to-do. It's all a to-do. Now listen, if they like it, all right, great. I love it. But for me, it's not, I don't take it seriously. I think for children when they're developing just their awareness, relationships, practicing that, you know, little boys asking little girls, you know, will you be my Valentine, and buying little candies and stuff like that. That's cute. That's sweet. But as we get older,
right,
show me and be so consistent that I forget it's Valentine's Day.
Ooh. First of all,
time. Yeah, but let me know. Okay, no.
The world is gonna tell you it's Valentine's Day. That's number one. But I agree with you. I really like that. Like, absolutely, it is about that children and people who feel the need to be like showy. I feel like there is a slight obligation to do something, even if it's, you know, not nothing, but the smallest amount, but something. Because if it's overlooked entirely, then we have a problem.
I did that before, and that's where it came from.
In trouble?
It was a long time ago. I mean, we were just like so young, and I was like, I'll get you something on the 15th. I do stuff for you all the time.
It can't be afterwards. It can't be after the day.
And it can't be before either.
Okay.
So if you're planning something on the 12th or the 13th, you might as well just wait the 2 days. You know what I mean? Because it's not gonna count. It's not gonna count.
It could be something.
Okay, I'll say this. Before is always better than after.
True.
Because after feels like you forgot.
True.
So even when you didn't, it just feels like, oh, that was, and it's yesterday. It ain't even happened yet. I mean, it's already happened. It's done. It's done.
My boss was talking about that. He's recently married, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about doing something on the 15th. I was like, look, bro, look at me.
Warn them.
Can't.
Want to do something on any other day with the 14th? Do it on the 13th. That's what I say. But also, you have to have this conversation with your partner. So if so Lindsay, I don't know how you were communicating with him, but if you say I'm cool, I'm good, then don't expect nothing. But I think women should be honest, like
absolutely
a little something.
Absolutely. Okay, we've had this conversation. Don't look at me like that, y'all. He's looking. Okay, I think they should be honest. I'm also very much so, and I've grown, but I have been one to do like a flirty hint. Like I'll be like, oh, I'm not gonna tell him.
Yeah.
And I see the way you look at me, and it doesn't work. No. And this is the thing. It does not work. They're not gonna pick up on it. You're gonna be disappointed. It's gonna be a whole thing. And so I have lived and learned that that's not the point. I don't want to tell him everything. Like I'm not about to go tell him to pick me up the exact number of cookies that I did.
How many cookies was that?
Exactly. I'm not going to tell him that. But yeah, I will say I've always said that something is better than nothing. Just like write me a note. Boom.
Yeah. And I feel like that's just it. It should be less than $25 or less than $50 because to me, it challenges you to be heartfelt.
Yes.
It challenges you to be creative and unique.
Yep.
And I don't even care if you're a billionaire because the thing is, if some women may hear this and be like, I spend money on me. But look, if you're spending money all the time, after a while, it's just a gift. A gift is a gift is a gift is a gift. I want something that you put thought into, that you're intentional, that will touch my heartstrings. And I guess everybody's love language is different, but for me, it doesn't require all that money, like a walk in the park and picking flowers from the field. I mean, that is a beautiful thing.
Exactly. I always say that the brokest people are the most creative.
And they have to be. That's why it's like, you're not about to go get them $50 one rose on Valentine's Day because it's like, I'm not going to do this.
I bet you the first guy who did that paper into that heart shape of origami, he was like, I'm lit.
You know what it did? That's why we're still doing it. Okay.
Because I used to give her those notes.
All the time. I still have them.
So for Valentine's Day, for me, I feel like with us, it's not necessarily for Lindsay. It's for the people around Lindsay to know she got a man, basically. So,
sorry to cut you off. What do you want? Do men ever want anything for Valentine's Day?
All right. I don't even see what Valentine's would be. It's no hints, no nothing. I told her in January. I said, "This is what I want for Valentine's Day. Okay, this is what I want."
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna get it or not, but I just want it to be known. I don't need no flowers. I want this.
Most of the time you get it yourself. You say, baby, this is what you got me for Valentine's Day. You got me some dumbbells for Valentine's Day. You got me some
dumbbells.
Right. Yeah.
So there. Do you like flowers?
No.
Now, was that the patriarchy coming out saying you don't like flowers? Are you buying flowers for you and Lindsay, but you can't admit you like the flowers, or do you really not?
No, I don't. Wait, do I like flowers? That's an interesting question. If somebody gave me flower, I'll be appreciative, but they could have gave me so many other things with that $40.
Right. They could have bought you food.
Yeah.
They could have. Yeah. They could have got you energy drinks.
Give me food. Give me Gatorade.
I would get them a box of Gatorade before.
What am I gonna do with flowers? If Lindsay got me flowers, I would think she's cheating on me. What are you doing? Who have you been talking to?
No, because I know you. I know you. Yeah. You know your person. I wouldn't do that.
I would do chocolate covered. Like if somebody's on, but like I'm not romantic like that. Like if my thing is, especially since I'm married, like let's cut the foreplay. Like send me pics, Lindsay. That's what I want to see. You know what I mean? That's like, what are we doing here?
Right.
What is all this romancing for?
He's clear. All right.
He's clear.
Yeah.
But yeah,
clear.
I do. I know what to do. Exactly. And it's not all about women on Valentine's Day. That's definitely not what we're saying. Yeah,
we went through that.
Whether it's men or women, single or, what have you.
But it is a test. It's a test in relationship, especially this day, because if the thing is when you were at work and I didn't get you nothing, because everybody knows that I'm with you. So they looking. They like, to be fair, she got to get something.
It was the pressure because
it's the pressure.
There were 3 other women in particular that made a huge deal about getting something sent to them. And, Gregory downstairs, he was like, da, 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 you got something. And I was like, I didn't get anything. And this was when we just got married too. I was like, yo.
You did get something that day.
Okay.
No, oh wait, no. See, that was one of those days where we celebrated Valentine's Day early.
Yes, we did.
And so she didn't, on the actual day, she didn't get anything because like we went out on a date on that Monday.
We did the 12th or something. Yeah.
And so the Valentine's Day, she was at work and I was like, okay, I got work, she at work.
I'm no longer like this, so it doesn't matter.
And it was, when I got home, it was a to-do. And I was like, I thought we talked about this, but then I learned. I say, you know what? On that day, no matter what, do something. Like, because it's not necessarily about her. She knows I love her and stuff like that. Her friends is looking.
Yeah, it's for others to see, oh, he loves her.
Yeah.
It comes across that way. And I mean, I feel like in some ways there's legitimacy to that. Like, I get it. I understand that. You're like, you want to feel the love and you want people to see the relationship. But then again, you can't trust it because now you see like,
oh yeah, absolutely. You could just use it as a ploy, like, okay, I can get her this and that. But it's easy points. Like for all the guys out there, I just want you to know, Valentine's Day is easy points. It's really easy. So,
okay. Getting to
all right, so let's get to another topic. All right, what you got?
Last thing though, before, because we do gotta
we run out of time.
Our time. The cliche that we want to throw in, because we're doing cliches this season, is there's plenty of fish in the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What about that?
Yes. How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about plenty of fish in the sea?
What are your thoughts on it? If
Here's my
thoughts to you, what would you think?
I would think 2 things. The first thing I would think is, oh my gosh, they're trying to be encouraging. They're telling me that there are so many men out there. There are so many options out there. Don't worry, and it's generally said when you are in either a toxic situation or an unhealthy situation, or you just broke up with someone, you're heartbroken, you're trying to get over someone. That's when you'll hear that phrase. Or when you're looking for someone and you're like, where are they? So I would probably say, oh, thanks. And then I would snarl, because the reality is it's a whole lot of fish eating mercury. Okay. It's like, ooh, it ain't no fat king salmon, Alaskan free range, It's just farm raised Atlantic salmon. And you're like, what hormones was this fed? Those are the fish we're dealing with nowadays.
You don't want that fish. You don't want that fish.
Yeah, they do shellfish. What is the shrimp? So yeah, I really think that it is meant to be encouraging, but the reality is, are there plenty of fish? What kind of fish are we talking about? Quality fish, good fish, healthy fish? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the reality is the older you get, I would say there's a sweet spot and then it gets kind of hard again, People ain't healthy, they just get, men don't age very well. Like in Black men, I'm like, come on, stay in the gym,
please.
check on.
They single. They do when they're single. When they got the time, they stay in the gym. My thing is, I'll do my part. It's a fun cliche. I think it's a fun cliche, but it goes to what we talked about last season about intentionality. Where are you fishing? What kind of fish do you want? You want a shark? What are you looking for?
Question: where would I find a good quality man?
The man that you're looking for. It depends on the woman, right?
That breath said enough. And that's what I mean. That side. Now, you asked me where you could find a good quality woman. I can tell you, I could rattle off 3 spots immediately. Okay.
But because men are trash.
But that's my point. It's like, I do believe that we have to keep the faith. We have to be hopeful. We have to be open. You have to be positive, because you're not going to attract anything if you're not in a place of expectation. But then I also think there's this level of reality you have to have too. And it's like, okay, here are the numbers, here are the stats. This is what I'm dealing with. And when you look at it like that, objectively, honestly, it opens up your mind, because now you're like, okay, well, maybe it's not just a Black man I need. Maybe I could open it up to other ethnicities. Now I've broadened my pool, because what's important to me is how a man treats me. If a man can provide for himself and a family, should we want to have one? Like, all of those things you take into consideration, other than the shallow things that will keep the pool limited. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it requires reality to open up the possibilities. To me.
Okay. So not plenty.
I want to know where quality good men are.
Where the
I hooked all my friends up with my other friends, so they got married. So
and you have good friends, you have good people around.
Yeah, so that's what I did. But let me tell you, they at work.
So you gotta meet them at work.
That's the thing. The good quality men at work, they ain't got time for the club. They ain't got time they are at work. They are doing their job. And that's why you got to start flirting with guys with you at the job.
No,
no. You see a guy, he flipping burgers. He be like, "Hey, how you doing?" All right, he's the doorman. He opening the door. He is working. You at traffic court. The lawyer walk in. "Hi, sir. How you doing, Mr. Lawyer?" You got to catch them when they working.
Okay.
Sophia's like, that's a perspective.
See, it's new. I'm innovative. You know what I'm saying?
Innovative.
I heard about this woman. She used to go to conferences. She used to find out about like work conferences, and she wasn't part of the job, but she'll go and be in the lobby.
That's it. Work conferences. That is so good.
They're professional. They at least got to put their best foot forward.
Bro, they're not afraid to invest in themselves. Negro, see, this is, and I've thought about that before, but you just confirmed that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. Well,
Sophia, I think that's what. Oh, go ahead, bro. I don't want to cut you out.
What you have? I have so much more to say, but I know that our time is running short.
How are you celebrating Valentine's Day? What?
You know what? I didn't even think about it. What am I doing on Valentine's Day? I think I am going to probably do something with some friends. Maybe they call it Galentines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Or I may serve somewhere. I don't know. I may do something nice for someone. Yeah. I don't know.
That's nice. That's lovely.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So you're not thinking about what you may receive from someone, or if.
No, I'm really not.
Okay.
I'm really not. I'm not. I'm thinking about anything that I may receive from someone. Yeah, I'm just all about, because I've made it clear that's not important to me.
Yeah.
And I genuinely mean that.
Right.
I don't say that to be like, all right, now let me see what he's gonna do. No games. If I don't get anything, if I don't get a happy Valentine's Day, I'd be totally fine. Okay. Lindsay, I don't know how that happened, but after you've been single for so long, that's just me. That's my experience. I'm okay with it. There's some women who are like, I've been waiting for this moment. I want a Valentine. So everybody is so different. I feel like wherever you stand on it, be honest with your partners, and they can be clear about how to celebrate you in the way you want to be celebrated.
Yep.
Are you giving something to someone? Are you giving to?
If I do, it'd be a stranger.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Or my dad.
Yeah. Oh, and that's your first Valentine, your parents.
Isn't it? It's my first Valentine. It'd be a nice text or a card. I'm not spending no money. Sorry. I'm not doing it.
Happy Valentine's Day.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us. I know this was quick and this was rápido, but it was really like the sweet spot of everything that we talk about, like in passing and, like you said, through the journey of life that we're doing right now. And I so appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. And I'm wishing you all the best. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on 5 seasons. That's insane.
Yeah, you know the struggle.
Dude, I'm so proud of y'all. So keep it up.
Well, okay, everybody. So y'all go and listen to the Maiden Myth Podcast. Everywhere you get your podcast, it is amazing. You will laugh and cry and reach out to Sophia on Instagram. What's your handle? Do you do that?
The Maiden Myth Podcast.
Okay. Please
the handle Maiden Myth Podcast, MAIDEN Myth MYTH Podcast. And our 2nd season will be out this month or next. So stay tuned.
Thank you for joining us on our 2nd episode, season 5, joined by none other than Sophia Stephens. Please do reach out to us. Tell us what you think about Valentine's Day and singleness and all the things that we talked about on this episode. Okay, so reach out to us on TikTok or Instagram, First Comes Love, TCM.
You can always subscribe to our YouTube at First Comes Love.
And email us, let's talk at firstcomeslove.com.
See you next Friday. And happy Valentine's Day.